And now I can take a look at this. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to the stream. I have my good friend Amit Jatwani here, which is kind of cool. We're figuring out ways to do streaming remotely. Amit is in New York City. I am in Columbus, Ohio. But yet we're both here live on stream, so this is kind of a fun thing to do. What I want to check and see is if I have audio. So Amit, can you talk just for a second?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Wednesday morning.
Yeah,
is the sound coming through?
It's coming through perfectly.
Awesome.
So that's really good news. So we have our stream going. We have the two of us live here talking about Alexa stuff. And as I talked to you about before we got started here, the thing that I'm really interested in doing this morning is diving deeper into this APL stuff. So I know you and I have talked. You and I are both really kind of new to the APL game and trying to figure this stuff out. So I thought what might be cool, especially for the people that might be watching, are to go into the skill that I've built already and just show you where we are and what it's doing. And then once we've done that, I just realized I wrote a little code this morning that is definitely going to break this. So I'm going to fix. I think I have to fix my my code. So I'm going to do that here real quick also. So I'm updating my Lambda right now. I'm working on some new images, so the images aren't going to be perfect for today. Still have to create those. But let's jump into looking at the Alexa skill and what it does and what it looks like, and then we can talk about the things that we want to change. So I have another cool view here, which is split screen you and I with Alexa. Look at that. And so I have my Echo Show 5 here. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to run through the skill real quick. I'm going to ask it a question, or it's going to ask me a question. I'll answer it, and then, or I'll let you answer it maybe, and then we'll look at what kind of visuals we end up with on the screen and talk about how we're going to change those. So Alexa, open TKO Trivia.
This is TKO Trivia. What would you like to do? You can start today's game or ask for a trivia question.
Give me a random question.
Here's your question from the design category.
Come on, focus.
Titanium dioxide is used in the production of what color of paint?
So the question is, titanium dioxide is used in the color of what paint? I'm pretty sure that it's white. And I don't know why my camera isn't focusing right now, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. But the thing that you should see is that I have this nice like sunburst background image. And then I also have the image on the right-hand side, which has the pencil and the ruler. That's from the specific category that we're getting. But you can see that it says Parmigiano Reggiano, country of origin Italy, and then a bunch of other stuff that I don't really care about. I want this to focus, please. Anyway, we'll work on that. But so my goal in all of this is to be able to replace the Parmigiano Reggiano. I want it in that font size. But what I want to do is have that be where the question is. And so the other text, the country of origin, the description of the cheese, all of that stuff I don't really care about. So, and the food pairings and wide pairings, I need to remove those as well. So you can see in the top it went away, but in the top left corner I have the name of the category. So the things that we need to look at are what really go into making that that display with all the text and everything. I need to make that stuff reflect my content. So I'm going to flip back over here to split screen with you and I, but this time we have some code on the screen. And what I need to do, I have a function to do this. Let me go find it. Add APL. So if I go here and go to the definition for that function, what I have down here is this specific function, which is the get question APL. So just so we can take a quick tour through how we got here, let me go to my browser real quick, and I'll go to, I have it open, good. So I have the developer portal open, and I also have the design tool open. So what I've done here, let me back up just as a step, just so you can see this as well, is when you come in to choose a display for APL, they give you these basic templates you can use, which are pre-written APL basically, or you can start from scratch, or if you have some of your own, you can upload it. And so the thing that I really want to do is this one here. This is the one that we were just looking at. So all I do is click on this, And instantly it takes me to a view that looks exactly like what we just saw, right? I have my cheese image, I have Parmigiano Reggiano, and in here it breaks it into a couple of categories. So I have APL here on the left. This is all my layout information. So you won't see any content. You won't see Parmigiano or any of that stuff in here. But we have resources, which are kind of like styles. I take that back. We have resources, which are definitions for colors and things like that, or sizing. Then we have styles, which are what font type, what font size, those kinds of things. And then down here at the very bottom, we have our main template. And this is where the individual items go. And so you can see that I have conditions on this for like when the viewport shape is round. So these let us check and say, oh, if I'm on an echo spot, I want to use this specific layout. But if I'm on a different one, then I would want to come down here to this container, and this is the one that fills in for the stuff that we have there. And so I have things like a title defined, right? The title is this piece right here. I have these individual elements, these textile elements that are also text within my layout. And so if I click on one of these, yeah.
Sorry, Jeff. I'm curious. So the APL that you were looking at, the JSON object that you were looking at, you just navigated to that specific one because you knew where it was, or I'm wondering if you can click on the UI and it'll take you to that spot.
So if I click on this highlight, it does not change anything over here. As wonderfully nice as that would be. In the GUI here, though, if I look at the GUI, I think that this will highlight and show me where something is. So I can see that this text box is down here. I can see that these food pairing things are here. And so what I actually want to do with this one, if there's a way, I want to throw this in the garbage. Yeah, so I have it highlighted, so I'm just going to delete it. Do I want to delete text? Yes. So you can see that I just found that item by clicking on it. It highlights it in blue. And I got rid of the thing that I didn't want. My fear, as I've talked to you a second ago, was that I want my question to take up all of the space. But I don't want... I don't think I actually want it that big because it'll fill the screen pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's a pretty big font.
So
which maybe, what if you... So maybe that's a segue. What if you wanted to change the font size? How would you go about doing that?
Well, there's a couple of ways. We could figure out what the style is for this thing. So I could go into the APL, and I could find the thing that we're looking at, which in this case is I have these three different text things. So I have text content title, I have text content subtitle, and then I can come into my styles, I think. The style for this is text style primary, I think. So if I come into text style primary, which is one of the styles here somewhere, yeah. Here's something for me to learn. So it's extending text style base 1 and mix in primary. So text size primary must be a resource, I would guess. Text size primary is 27. So if I make this 50, I've made that text bigger.
Yeah. I think you increased the size of country of origin.
I did. So that's text size primary. I wonder which one I'm looking at then. If that wasn't that, then maybe it's this one. Text style body. So if I come back to my styles, text style body is text style base 1, which is this, which extends text style base. See, this is a lot of navigation that I have to kind of dig in and figure out. But 300, that can't be right? If I change this to 27, that's
that also, like, the name itself doesn't sound right. Like, why would that be the base or the body?
So body 40.
So go back to the GUI view that you had.
Oh, that fixed it.
Because you can match the GUI view to that, right? Oh, that's it.
Yeah, text size body is apparently the title. These are, I didn't write these names, but clearly they're not as informed as they might need to be. But it appears these are my standard, like that's what they're saying here. These are your standard font sizes. So we have body, primary, secondary, and secondary hint. My guess is this is the hint. So those are my...
Wait, so body is basically almost like an H1.
Yeah.
And the size primary is the country of origin, which is a subtext of sorts. And then you have the secondary is the Parmesan cheese is made from.
Right, and I think if I change that... Oh, it didn't change anything. So if I change this... I changed everything. So that's all using my same primary size, which was 27. So all of this here...
is the same.
The country of...
So you cannot change the font size. The only thing you can change the font size is basically two things then. It's a main title, which is your size body.
Well, but we can do this another way. I was just trying to avoid it, which is that I could come into my GUI and I could click on this one specifically, and I could come in here and say font size.
So you're overriding that.
And do 100. And now if I scroll down, I should see the other ones stay the same. So I can apply individual styles to anything. But the default styles that are defined as part of my styles and resources apply to everything, and then I just override them as necessary. So I feel like this font size is actually okay. But what I want to do is get rid of this. So I'm going to get rid of that, and hopefully everything moves up. And it does. And I can get rid of this because I only need the one.
Country of origin is really a question. Yeah.
And so now I have my country of origin. I've already changed this. My skill already has changed this out for the name of the category that we're in. So what I need to do is figure out what the name of this thing is, which I can do in the APL. And it is called body template 2 text content dot subtitle. Don't love that. What if I change this to title? Okay. I don't love that either. So let's look at my data and see the items that I have in here. So I have title, I have image, I have text content, I have title, subtitle, and primary text. It feels like primary text is the one that I would want.
This is where you're doing the data binding, basically.
Yeah, so there is a data file where you insert all of your data, and then you data bind that to all of your stuff, and that's what these APL references are. So you see like this data binding statement here where it's payload.bodytemplate2.textcontent.title.text. I think I actually want this to be primary text. Yeah. And so what I found there as I was going into this, if I look at my data, is that I have one called title, one called subtitle, and one called primary text. Again, this naming is really pretty terrible.
Yeah.
But primary text is what makes sense to me. And so I'm going to use that as my data source that I bind to. And so I need to change out this value. So I need text content.primary text. And if we look at the APL, it's text content.primary text.text. So I'm just going to take this bit and copy it, because this should be a pretty easy fix for me in my code. So you can see that I'm already doing this a bunch of places where I have apl.datasources.bodytemplate2 data, and then I'm already changing out the title and the background image and the main image. And so I think all I'll need to do to make this change, which is nice because this is a pre-built template that I don't have to work on. I don't have to do all the actual layout work. Template to data dot. This is where my stuff comes in.
Wait, where are you getting the? I get the API or data sources, which I'm guessing is provided by the SDK to you.
It's not. The SDK doesn't actually do any of this work for me. So I have a file in my code that is that entire thing. So this is all of my layout, all of my data binding, all of this stuff. And I left all the...
This is both the files?
It is. So if I come back here, there's this download button right here. This lets me download the contents of the APL and the data tabs all as one document.
How does it... So basically, how does it even differentiate between the two? It gives you a variables that they're assigned to?
It does. So it creates a document node, and it creates a data sources node, which is right somewhere.
So it's one big JSON just with two different key value pairs, basically.
Yeah, and you could separate these out, right, if you really wanted to. What I'm doing in my code is referring to...
Yeah, but then you'll have to do that every single time, right?
So I have this object APL, which just grabs that JSON file out of the file and brings it into memory. And so I'm saving that as APL. So up here, I can just say apl.document, which is the document part of that file, and apl.datasources is the data sources part of that file. So it's treating it like two separate JSON files, more or less. But this way I can keep them all in one place, and I don't have to go hunting for a bunch of files in different places. So it's great that I have this reference here, but I need to change this to be actually my question text. And so this I need to be session attributes dot current question. Can't see it because your head's in the way. Current question dot screen question. I think that's right. Let's go look at my database. Make sure I've got that right. Screen question. Yeah, that's the property that I want right there. So it's going to grab that value out of the question object that I've brought in. So I think we're good. I think that I'm now in a position where I can expect that I will see the question on the screen. So let's do a little CLI magic to push my Lambda up. Have you had an opportunity to play with that local Lambda stuff that came out in that blog post last week?
I have not.
So I really like the idea of using ngrok, but I feel like I'm going to create this tangled mess for myself where I have all this stuff coming in locally, and then like that falls apart when I want to do a beta test. If I want to be able to do updates while I beta test. Okay, my code is updated. I'm going to come back here, and we're going to give this another run. And this time we should see the question on the screen, which would be awesome. Alexa, open TKO Trivia.
This is TKO Trivia, a trivia game with 20 different categories that will knock you out. You can say something like, "Give me a science question," or you can start today's game. What will it be?
Give me a random question. It's focusing on me in the reflection rather than
Here's your question from the music category.
From the following list, name the musician who is not from Canada.
From the following list, name the musician who is not from Canada: Bryan Adams, Eddie Van Halen, Corey Hart, Gordon Lightfoot.
Alexa, quit. So what's awesome about this is that...
here's a question. Yeah. The question definitely populated, but it's still showing the title.
Wrong.
It is.
I'm guessing you didn't copy the JSON.
So that's the thing that I need to go back to.
You can say, "Give me a random question,"
I need to go back
or
to
start
this
today's game.
Here, and I need to take the things that I removed.
It appears our trivia questions
Alexa,
are better than our program.
Quit. I need to take out those other elements in this scroll view container. So I probably should have just copied it over, but since we're here, we'll go into my question JSON. We'll find that layout, which had all of these, right? It had the food pairings, and it had the title, and it had the primary text.
So is there any reason you would just not copy the whole JSON, like download the JSON and just dump it here?
Well, my fear in doing that is that this download, I guess that probably does include the save that I have, but I felt like for the simple change I just made, I think that's all I needed to do. Okay. So, but yes, in general, what I would do is do all my design here, and then I would download this file and replace the contents with the one that I have locally.
And obviously that's also assuming that when you started editing it, you actually imported the JSON that you had.
Exactly. So let's try that one more time. So I've uploaded my question JSON, and we'll go back to our split Alexa view. And while that's uploading to Lambda, we can start the skill anyway. Alexa, open TKO Trivia.
This is TKO Trivia, a trivia game with 20 different categories that will knock you out. What should we do next? You can say, "Give me a random question,"
Alexa,
or start today.
Give me a random question.
Here's your question from the geography category.
Yeah.
Where in the world is...
By population, what is the largest country located entirely in Europe that does not use the
That's
euro as
music.
its official currency?
I love sound effects.
Wait,
man.
what's the question?
By population, what is the largest country located entirely in Europe that does not use the euro as its official currency?
Isn't it the UK?
I believe it is the UK. Alexa, United Kingdom.
You got that one right.
And so
Nice work.
we end up here because this is my answer template, which I haven't changed at all either.
You just
But
earned
I
10
imagine it's
points,
gonna look very
which
similar.
gives you a total of 3,410.
Alexa,
The UK still uses the
quit. I notice we have Jeff Nunn on the line with us, and we have Richard Boyd. Thank you guys for joining. It's super cool to have you here.
appears our
And if
trivia
you guys have
questions
questions
are better
for us,
than our
please feel free to
programmers.
ask them in
Something
the
just
chat.
broke.
Alexa,
I'm so sorry.
quit.
So did she time out? What was going on?
She tried to capture everything that I just said and then threw an error because she didn't know what to do with that.
Oh, because she was ready for the next question.
So that's a good simple fix. Now, here's something interesting that I found, Amit, and maybe you can help me figure this out. So we've been playing with this template, and that's all working great now. I have some images to replace because the image that's here, I want it to have a clear background instead of the solid background that I have now. But that's fine. That's an easy workaround. But I'm going to go back, and we're going to start from scratch because, actually, we're going to start here. While I'm looking at this one, we have this image.
This is the answer?
No, this is still the same question template that we're on, but I want to demonstrate something here. So I have this image, and right now the source is pointing at the URL in my data sources. So let's go here, and we'll find my image, which I think is this. Details, background. Yeah, so I want the details. So I'm going to go into an S3 bucket. Where I have some transparent images, and I'm going to grab the URL of an image that is transparent and it's available to the internet. So we'll come into art here, and we'll go to icons, and I just created a couple of these this morning. So we'll take this one, and you can see if I open this up, it looks like it has a black background, but it is actually transparent. And I'm going to take the URL path for this, and we're going to come back to the designer, and I'm going to replace the reference to this image with mine. Okay. Now what I want you to see, and I need you to agree with me on this, my image is transparent. You can see that it's allowing me to see the image that's behind it, because this is the whole image. But you can see that this cracker is coming through, and I can see the wood grain behind it. So very clearly, I have a transparent image, right? Without no pun intended, but it's very clear. So that is what I expect it to do. That's the behavior that I'm wanting. So I'm going to go back now, and I'll proceed, and I'm going to choose Start from Scratch.
Yeah.
Now in here, I'm going to take you can't see this, but I'm going to take an image and I'm going to drag it onto my canvas. And it says insert your image. Okay, so I'm going to take my image. Oh, Michael Bender's here. Awesome. Thank you guys for coming. So I have a background image in my S3 bucket as well. So let me go grab that first, because I want you to help me understand what I might be doing wrong here. So I have an image called background that I'm going to take, and I'm going to grab the path to my image for this. We'll come back to the design tool. Hi, Ice Cream. Thank you for joining. And I'm going to paste it in here. And so now you can see I have my background image. And then I want to scale this, so it's going to be best fill. Oh, I need to make my container grow as well. So that will be... I thought there was a way to do that. Speech ID, bind style.
What are you looking for?
Width and height. I'm trying to make this the whole width of the screen. Sometimes this is easier to detect in here. So I have my container, and I need to set the height and width of the image instead of to these specific dimensions. I want to do that. And so now you can see my image takes up the whole screen, which is what I wanted to do. And then I want to, in my GUI here, I want to add another image on top of it. And this image, I want this one to be my transparent one. So I'll come in here to art and to icons.
Okay. I think I see where this is going.
Yeah, let's take the same transparent image we used a moment ago. And I'll paste this over. And you can see that, one, I have a container that has a black background for some reason. So let's even do this. I'm going to take another container and add it here to main template, maybe. Take main template, add a new container, add it, take this image, put it in the new container, maybe, like that. And you can see that all I get is black. So in here, if I look at my container as APL, there is nothing about a background image or background color or anything really.
I'm wondering how the JSON was for the previous one that we had it working
Sure.
on.
So I can't save this. These are other things that I would love to fix. But so we'll just take all of this,
copy this.
Yeah. And I'll drop it in here to a new file just so I have it. Okay, so let's back up and let's look at that original template that we were looking at, which was this one. And if I look at this image, which is this one down here.
Wait, but is this really transparent? I can sell from here.
It is. You can. Well, no, this one isn't. But if I remember, I replaced this with my image, and it was working just fine. So we can replace it again just so that it's all the same. So that's just this here. You grab that URL again, and instead of worrying about the data binding, I'm just going to rip it out. Okay, so there's my image in the template, transparent.
Yeah.
So when I look at that, I have best fit, I have align center, I have a master container that it's inside of that doesn't have anything related to background imaging. This one.
Can you go back to the GUI view?
Yeah. So it's this
so you
image
have it
inside.
In a so you have it container scroll view. Is that another container underneath that?
Yeah, there's a container here. I can blow this up a little bit for you.
I mean, I can see why it was lining up as like two horizontal div containers of sort. That I think I can still understand. I just don't know why the transparency is not working. So,
well, and maybe that's my issue. Is that actually what's happening? Is I have like where is my background image in all of this? So is there even a way for me to select that? My main template. I have a container. That container has. Does it have a background image? No. So this image. I think this is my background image. Let's verify that. So we'll drop this in here. And that didn't change anything. So let's undo that. What about this container? Or this, what is this image here?
So in these sources, when you're changing them, you cannot just enter the URL. You still have to do the pairing. Like go back to the front of this URL at the beginning.
Oh, yeah. No, you can just point to it directly to a URL, or you can do the data sources style if you would prefer.
Okay, so that's your background now,
Yeah.
right?
So that is my background image. So I have a container with a background image, and then I have a container with a scroll view with a container. So maybe that was my issue. I need a container with an image with a container inside of it with my image.
Right.
Let's try that. So I'll take this. Let me create another new one. I'll take this out, just so that I also have a copy of this.
Yep.
And then let's take this one, dump it in here. What's going on? It doesn't like that at all. Okay, so maybe just by taking this container and putting it inside this container.
Yeah, I think that should do it.
This image should go inside this container. Nope. And then this image should go inside here, like that. And then this should go below.
No.
Okay, so we're at a point where my image is on top of the other image, but it's still black. I don't understand why it's black.
Well, I think the problem is still that it's looking at them as something that needs to be lined up horizontally instead of on top of each other.
So what if I throw that scroll view in here? Come on, what just happened?
Throw it anywhere at this point.
Now it won't do anything. I have broken it. My browser has died.
Just the tab or the browser?
The browser. Or the tab, I'm sorry. So
All right, just reload. You still have a copy of the JSON, right?
yeah.
Michael Bender, that's what you get for using the GUI.
Thank you for the support, sir. You're supposed to tell me what I'm supposed to do. We're trying to learn here. My page won't even load now.
Just reminds me of good old CSS, where you want it to go on top of it, but it's really just bumping against each other.
Right. Okay. Nope, I don't want to do that. Let's just start from scratch. Okay, and then we'll come over here and we'll take this. And people are saying that they think it's actually pushing my background image down. Oh, interesting. All right, so I didn't like that.
You know what I would do, Jeff?
Yeah.
I would start off with the one that is working and try to trim it down to a point that we can break it.
Oh, I see. Okay, we could do that.
Like, start taking things out and see at what point it breaks.
Okay. So we can just take this one. Cancel. Feels like I broke more.
Can you switch to the GUI view? I just want to see what the architecture looks like right now.
Michael Bender, I appreciate your feedback on that's what I get for using the GUI, but I don't know the syntax for a lot of this stuff yet to even be able to type it all out. I hope to get there. I would really prefer to do that versus anything else. So I'm with you though, Amit. I don't know what this image is, so it's trash.
Yeah. Still working.
This text is that one, trash. This text.
Take the footer.
Trash.
Take the footer out too.
Yeah.
Footer and the image underneath that, maybe. I would take a backup before you do that one.
This one.
I don't know what
that
image.
That is my image.
Oh, that is okay. That stays. That stays.
Now this whole container could probably go away then.
Yeah. Ooh.
What is
Something happened. So. Is it working?
Well, I brought the container.
Yeah,
I brought the container back, so I'm going to delete this one, and I'm going to delete this one.
So it's an empty container, but it's still doing. I think it's holding its position, is what it's doing.
No, maybe that's just the representation of the scroll view. Yeah.
Yeah, it was holding the position. You wanted the scroll view, or you wanted this image on the right side, having that empty container to contain the scroll view created that.
But I actually don't care about it. The thing that I want to use this
That's
for
fine.
is for my splash.
The transparency is still working. Right.
Yeah, so get rid of that. Oh, that was my background image. Never mind.
Yeah.
So this can go away, whatever that is supposed to be, and this can go away. And Alexa header can go away.
Yep.
This
I'm not sure.
Alexa stop.
I think that can go too. Yeah.
And then this whole container probably could go away. Now the question for the class is, what's different between this one and the one I created?
So, copy the JSON now. I bet the JSON has something that we are not seeing in the view.
The problem is they have so much more stuff here, like with all these styles and everything. I would love to just delete all the styles and see if that changes anything. Do I even need them?
So, okay.
I don't.
Before you do that,
Okay.
just bring it back to where you are.
Well, I think we're still there. What I'm looking for is how much stuff can I delete and still have it do what it's doing, because it's doing the thing that it wants. There aren't any alpha settings, Jeff. That was the first thing that I looked for when I encountered this problem. And
Wait, I don't remember seeing any position absolute in your JSON.
I agree. So let's take that. And this is my 3. Put that here. And then there is no positioning. So that was
So
position absolute.
let's try adding that. And check if you have to add that to both of them, both the images, the background and the other one.
Yeah, let's see. No.
Okay, so it's fill for both of them.
No, this is best fill. This is best fit.
Okay, so check that also. The other one does not have that.
Scale. Best fill.
Okay. Hoping that should do it. I'm guessing it was the positioning. Maybe it was the scale also.
Huh.
Didn't
It's
like
black.
it.
So my containers are just stacked. Container, container. If we look at this. Container, container. But
Yeah.
this one here.
It's container items. There's a node for items first. You don't have that
So
either.
I have a container that has items that are the image and the next container.
Well, you do have, okay, you have items. Yeah, but it's not nested though.
Well,
Progress. Sort of.
these are
Is the image showing
these
at
are
all?
switched. These are switched. Hold on.
Our heads are in the way. I can't see.
Yeah. Oops. Copy. This needs to be background. And this needs to be that.
And I think you want to change. Doesn't the best fit and best fill also change?
Like that? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it was that they needed to be nested so that the transparent image was actually on top of my image, and the reason that it was a black background was probably because of my dark theme. Because it was actually showing me an empty background, and so the empty background would be black.
So go back to the GUI now.
Man. Container image, container image. I thought we had gotten to this point, but clearly no.
Okay, so are you ready to break it again?
Maybe? I'm gonna...
Copy it. Copy it. Here's what I want to try. I think we were very close to this one. The only difference from what I remember was that the second image that you have, instead of it being right under the container, it was nested, but it was under the second container.
Gotcha.
So try doing that.
Just move it, like...
Just move that.
Like here?
Yeah, but not inside the second container.
Like...
I think the GUI lets you do that. Yeah.
There it is.
Or
can you see it? It's all black now.
Yeah.
But if I move this...
Well, the second image is... Well... No, that's not... I don't think that's the way we had it. I think the GUI lets you take that... The first image that you have within the first container, right?
Yeah. This first one is the background image.
Right. Bring it right at the bottom first. Okay. Now can you drag that left so it's under the first container? Leave it there. That's where we were.
All right.
So technically it is still underneath it, but the way the CSS or whatever, like the lineup is working, it needs to be right underneath. It needs to be before the second container.
Yeah. Which isn't intuitive, because the order that I see them here suggests that the background image comes first, and then when I look at the APL like this, right? I have the background image first, and then I put a thing on top of it, which is art and stage. But when I look at the GUI...
Right. So click on image, click on the first image. What is it highlighting?
The background image.
The background. Okay.
Okay, so this is really good.
And we set the background to best fill.
The background is best fill. That will fill the whole screen the best way that it can. Best fit will fit it on the screen as best it can, but that potentially leaves gaps on the screen. Best fill will always fill your whole window. Best fit will just make your image fill until it hits one of the edges. So if it's taller than it is wide, you'll have gaps on the sides, right?
Right. So it was definitely a layout thing. It was giving us an illusion that something is going on with the transparency, even though it was basically just defaulting to your theme.
Right. So now I can come in here and I can grab my logo, because this is all I was really trying to do with this. Was if I come into my art and I take my large logo image and I put this here, and this is one of those ones that doesn't change, so I don't really mind it being static. But if I take my image here, replace it with that, now I have my splash screen. So this is what you should see when the skill loads. And that looks awesome.
Right.
So if I take this...
Michael Bender, it renders from the bottom innermost to the top. It does look like that.
Yeah.
So the first image under the parent container needs to be the background.
Well, I think the point here is that, like, this is my first image here. This chunk. So within a container, from top to bottom is lowest to closest to the screen. Like if you're thinking about them like layers, right? So whatever it puts in first will be on the bottom. Anything you add after that will lay on top of it the whole way. 10 internet points for me, thank you. I hope I've started a new trend. So, why did it change back to my other image? That's weird. Whoop.
You know what? I would also take a screenshot of this. Of that GUI layout.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Just so you remember. Just so we all remember.
Screenshotted. Actually, I just wanted this, I think. Okay, so I have what I want. I have the APL, but again, it doesn't... Oh, it did change it to large logo that time. So I'm going to copy this out. We're going to actually get some code written, which is I have a JSON file called splash. We're going to paste that in there. And then hopefully very easily, if I come to the very beginning of the skill, the launch request, in here I have the ability to just do add APL. And what does it want? I need RB, handler input, and type, and this will be splash. And then let's go down and check to make sure that the splash is actually loading. We might have made some real progress on this skill. So splash points to splash.json. I need a function called... No, I don't need anything because there's no modifications on that one. I think we're done. Boy, that would be amazing if we were able to, once we get the APL thing, like, just to be able to get this to work in the skill, like, instantly would be amazing. So we're going to kick it back over to Alexa View. All right, here we go. Alexa, open TKO Trivia.
Welcome to TKO Trivia, the trivia game show where you answer difficult questions and win nothing. What would you like to do? You can start today's game or ask for a trivia question.
Alexa, quit. It should have been right there. So let's see what I did wrong. I can go back to here. RB equals add APL. Handler input, splash, all of that looks good.
You sure that's in your launch request?
Yeah. Let mean, I'll verify that. It's always a good thing to check. But I have my launch request handler. Whoop. And in here at the very bottom, this is how I respond to the user. So if I go to my definition, the first thing I do is say, if the supported interface is supported, then I do a switch on the type of APL that I want. That is in my APL folder.
Right.
Did
and
I?
then you call your splash.
Did I not deploy to Lambda? I thought I did.
Do you have a timestamp on your channel?
Oh, I just found it. So, see how there's APL.document and APL.datasources?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't have that in this file. So this one doesn't have any of that nonsense. So I need...
So that's what I was asking you earlier. Like, you make a change, you have to redo this, right? So why not just grab the download that APL gives you and then work around that?
If I take this, I'll be interested to see if it has the data sources stuff in it.
Well, it will if you started off with that, I think.
It does.
If you imported that.
It does. All right, so cool. We'll just take that, replace Splash with that. That is much easier. I agree.
Right.
This is just me having confidence in the tools. Floyd, I agree with you that I shouldn't need the data sources, but because of the way that I'm building this skill so that I have basically a helper function that goes off and grabs the right APL and replaces all the values and does all that stuff for me on the side. Sometimes I need data sources, sometimes I don't, and so that forces me to just always have data sources. Okay, let's try that one more time. Alexa, open TKO Trivia. Yes!
This is TKO Trivia.
Awesome.
What should we do this time?
Give me a random question.
Here's your question from the science category. What does a person with hexadectalism have?
Do you know the answer to that one, Amit? Did you hear the question?
No, I don't.
What does a person with hexadectalism have? It means that they have 6 fingers or 6 toes on one hand or foot.
I say they know the hex codes for 100 colors.
Alexa, 6 fingers.
You got that one right.
And then we have our answer.
Nice
template.
work.
So I haven't built that part out yet. It is 11:45.
That's 10 more points, which gives you a total of 3,420.
Man.
What would you like to do?
I want to take on that
you
one
can
too?
start today's game or ask for a trivia question.
I have a hard stop in 15, but you're obviously welcome to
Alexa,
keep
quit.
going.
No, I also have a hard stop. We got a late start this morning because we had to figure out how to get you and I to talk on the same stream. But now this is working.
Yeah.
We're going to have to pair up with Jeff Nunn. We're going to get people on stream all the time.
That could be a stream by itself, like behind the scenes or what it took
Right.
to get us to this point.
Well, some of the people that are here have been asking. Like, I know Michael Bender asked yesterday, hey, it'd be really interesting to see what your setup looks like. Because some people were asking about the toys that are sitting here behind me on the shelf, and they're like, wow, that's quite a collection. I was like, I wish I could say that's all there were. And then I did like a video tour where I turned the camera around this office, and like 3 entire walls along the ceiling are filled. You can see the shelf that's right above me right there.
How long have you been collecting these?
Probably 3 or 4 years, and it's not just me. It's like my kids want some and whatever. But a lot of them end up.
That's pretty impressive for 3 years.
Yeah, it's a lot. So, but it's fun. It's a fun thing to collect, and like I just got a new one yesterday. It's like a shiny green chrome Boba Fett. So, yeah, pretty cool.
Love it.
Anyway, so this feels pretty good. I feel like you dragged me through a few things with like, no, just try this and it'll work, and it did, which makes me think that the more we do this, the more valuable it will be. So for those of you that are still tuned in, I think Amit and I are thinking we're going to do this every Wednesday, where he and I will pair up. Sometimes it'll be on my stream, sometimes it'll be on his stream, but we'll work together on figuring out how to solve problems and code things and do whatever. And I think it'll be pretty awesome. So we could probably just wrap up now. I don't know how long we've been streaming. I guess it's been an hour. We've been going for an hour.
Been an hour.
So that's good.
Yeah.
But I probably should also get some work done. So.
All right. This was fun,
Yeah, this
Jeff.
was really good. Here, we'll go.
I learned so much about APL.
Right.
So
I mean, it's a good start, right?
I got a big win.
You learn how to use the tools, and you learn how to play with some of this stuff, and before you know it, you're a wizard. So I'm going to try and work on, maybe this afternoon or tomorrow, getting that answer template working. And then I'm in a point where this skill is going to look awesome. I feel like it's performing pretty well, but it has yet to be beta tested, and I know there's lots of issues I'll run into there. So very anxious to get to that point, but I need it all to look and act good first. All right. Well, I will. I guess with that, we can sign off. Thank you, Amit, for joining.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jeff, for having me. This was really fun.
Cool. And we will see all of you on the other side. I'll probably be back on Friday by myself. And please join Amit. Amit, what is your Twitch channel so these folks can follow you over there?
I am on Amit Jotpani, so that's my first name and last name.
Okay, cool. Here, I'll add that to the.
Jot.
I'll add that to the chat so they can see that. Twitch.tv/Amit Jotpani. Jeff Nunn wants to know how you do the cool blur.
Wow. Should we let the secret out, Jeff?
Yeah, I think it's fair.
Okay. So it's actually a really cool feature that Skype has. So the way we are actually chatting with each other is that we have Skype going on. And Skype has this feature. It's basically like a toggle button. We just toggle it, and it does pretty well. I'm going to try it out. If I can remember how I did that. Oh, I think I know. So I'm going to go into my preferences for Skype, and then audio and video, I think. Okay.
And it's gone.
So. And it's back on. Hey.
Awesome.
So it's a toggle thing on Skype preferences called Blur My Background, and it looks pretty nice actually. They do decent detection of your face and your body.
The one place that it's not blurred is through the gaps in your headphones.
That's true.
I can see perfectly through there. I plan on getting really adventure with this. I have an entire green screen that I will be able to pull up behind me, literally right behind me, and then we can do all sorts of crazy stuff. I'll be in space or whatever. So, all right. With that, we can sign it off for today. I got to get some lunch. I'm starving. And we will see you all again soon. Please make sure you follow Amit. He's doing a bunch of cool stuff on his channel as well. All right. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, guys.